Okay.
Go. Call order the Plan Commission meeting at the Richard Young Fire Station on Wednesday, December 4th, 2024 at 6:35 PM. Roll call, please.
President Osterman,
Here.
trustee Plotecker is absent and excused. Commissioner Ilhafen,
Here.
Commissioner Everly,
Here.
Commissioner Howard. Here. Commissioner McCormick,
Here.
Commissioner McDonald,
Here.
Planner Sumwalt,
Here.
Attorney Macy,
Here.
Engineer Lysis is absent and excused. Administrator Nicholas. Here. And Clerk Capazzo Ketch to record the minutes.
Thank you. Item 2 is citizens' comments. Does anyone have any comments to make tonight? Anyone on Zoom? Doesn't look like it. All right, item 3 is approval of the minutes of the October 23rd, 2024 public hearing and Plan Commission meeting. You have the minutes. Any comments or questions, or is there a motion on the minutes?
I'll move to approve the minutes from October 23rd, 2024 public hearing and plan commission as presented.
Brian, is there a second?
McDonald second.
Second by Rob. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Item 4, new business. A, discussion necessary action on the request by Joe Bukovich and Mike Carrick for approval of the developers agreement related to Lake 5 Farm subdivision and recommendation to the village board of the same.
He is not. I know he intended to be, because he emailed me yesterday saying he'd see me tonight. They based this development agreement off of the one for, October Fields, which was based off of, a form that Attorney Macy had approved a couple of years ago when he first started, working with the town at the time, now village. Attorney Macy did do his review, and I pasted his comments on the cover sheet.
Thing to point out, John, or?
Couple weeks. I don't think there was anything significant.
They look like they were 2 section numbers.
Check the dollar amount, which I believe has been done according to the staff meeting for the
Correct.
tanks.
Can I ask a stupid question, Mr. Chairman?
Absolutely.
I know all my questions are stupid.
Here's Mike.
How come we don't require tanks anymore?
Well, we either require tanks or we
Or
require
money.
that they
But
put money towards.
I've never, since I've been here, we've never put tanks in. I'm just curious.
We're on
Yeah.
yours.
There's Mike.
We did in at least one area I know, up by
Well,
Q.
there's tanks over by us.
Yeah, and we just put some in up by Q.
Okay.
Litzau put those in.
Who makes that determination? Is the option of the developer or is it?
Yes. They have the
Oh.
option.
Okay,
We
I'm just
encourage,
curious.
I
Never
believe,
mind.
helping
So-
fund the water tankers,
That's
but
correct.
the
But then
tanks
it's-
are an option.
And it's good for the whole village. Helps the whole
Okay.
village.
We're on your agenda item. We just opened up right before you got here. John, we're just looking over.
Yeah, I
Any
think
comments?
that, I don't think there was anything else. It's pretty minor because we've looked at it. As I said, there was one section that, formatting.
See that person
Wanted
come
to
in.
make sure the engineer had no problem with them striking the stormwater management plan language. It was also excluded from the prior agreement, so. And I don't think Mitch had any problem with it.
Correct.
Questions from the commission? Brian? Sherry?
I had a question on, I guess it's page 13 of 20. Section 15E under deed restrictions, the last line, says the deed restrictions also contain the following language, and then it doesn't finish. So if there's that should be deleted or the language added to it?
No, I believe the language is F.
Or is that what was in your note?
No, it's a good catch. I don't see it in my notes. I had recalled that, well, first, the paragraph gives two options, whether or not they have, let me make sure I'm in the right paragraph, but I believe I am. This deals with whether they have a master grading plan or whether the grading is gonna be determined lot by lot. And the developer has to indicate which it is. I believe what really happened is that the lot grade is the language that has been opted to be put in. So something happened with the formatting. And you have to strike one or the other, the master grading plan one or the individual lot one. The master grading plan one has been stricken. I can go.
No, I think she's talking about the one before that,
Deed
John. E.
restrictions.
Right, but the deed restrictions shall contain the following language, lot grade, each lot
Oh,
owner must
okay.
strictly adhere to and finish lot. That is the language.
So that's,
The next section.
F is a subparagraph then.
So we just, F needs to be, it's not F, it's actually, that's E.
It's E with the stormwater management.
If you don't mind, Mike, we're on a Zoom meeting. Do you mind speaking into the mic if it's hopefully on?
You'll have to turn it on. Just flip the switch.
There you go.
Okay. We have, all the grades set for 8-foot basements. If somebody wants to put a 9-foot basement, they will have to raise the yard grade up 1 foot. Because of water table. We want to make sure the water table's fine.
Gotta stay above though.
So that underline in what is now F, is that a G or is that one's coming out? Which is, it's either the first part of the paragraph or the second?
So F is technically part of E.
So the lot grade is gonna be is gonna be on each deed. There was a restriction on each deed.
Yeah, and then G becomes F and so on going down.
Then my
So
only,
does F come down to where issuance of building permits? I think that's all it
Just
was.
checking right now.
That's the piece.
I see. what
Remove
you're
the
talking about. Yeah.
I think it just, I think it's just a
I think it's just a format.
format error.
I see what you're talking about. My
So
only,
where
other
it's
com-
Did it once
underlined.
instead of twice.
my other comment was on the preliminary plat that's attached as an exhibit. Is that the actual copy that's going to be attached? Because at the prior meeting, the comment was made by the engineer that the I get my wording right, septic field areas were not shown on the preliminary plat and they needed to be added.
Field areas. That
Septic areas.
That's gonna be probably on the final plat. This is just a preliminary plat. This
I
time.
know. That was my
Are
question.
you saying, are
was
we going to substitute the final plat? Yes. Once it's approved, the final plat will, this preliminary will be replaced with the final plat.
And then my only one was just the date, effective date needs to be updated from November 5th, but I'm sure that.
I would think the date could stay the same because. You can just date them when you
John's
sign
right.
them
He
too.
just pulled up the document and F just got somehow tossed in there with lot grade.
Okay,
So technically G is out with just one letter.
gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, issuance of building permits is F.
Yes.
So that's just, the F is out of place in this
Mhm.
draft. The earlier drafts that I have show it correct.
Okay, that makes sense.
Thank you for that catch.
Anything of you, Sean?
Which pretty straightforward.
Rob?
Great. It's good.
All right. Anything for you, Mike? Anything else?
No,
Is there a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve the developer's agreement for Lakefront Farms, subject to attorney and staff comments, minor formatting and recommendation of the village board of same.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Mike.
thank you very much. Look forward to starting this one.
You are starting this year yet?
Hopefully.
I saw some holes out there.
Well, they were doing test holes for more, so we did preliminary septic mound system test holes. They only did like one per lot. Now they've done the 3 per lot, which is what you need for septic permits.
Yeah.
We hope to start sometime in January, depending on the
Okay.
weather.
Good luck.
So, okay,
It's a beautiful piece of land.
it is very excited about it. That'll finish up between Twin Pines and
The corner.
the Haas Farm, so it'll all tie together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item B, discussion only regarding proposed amendments to various sections of the Village of Lisbon zoning code, including but not limited to definition of accessory buildings and limited family business.
So we want to be just succinct in the parts of this that we're going over tonight, as you mentioned from the agenda. We'll start with the definitions, go through page 4 to 35. We'll just go page by page. If anybody has comments, please bring them up. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next page. And then we'll go to the accessory building standards, page 39, and then the limited family auto repair business on page 73 to 74. So those were the points that we wanted to get through this evening. So if we start with definitions, again, this is in a track changes format, so the stuff that was changed is what's in red. Some of that pertains to what, language, like we changed the word ordinance to chapter. You'll see that a lot. But otherwise, if something was added in, that would be in red, or if it was amended, that would be in red as well through the track changes format. So again, starting on page 4, which is the start of the definitions section. Does anybody have any comments or questions on what you're seeing on page 4?
I had a comment on page 3.
Yep. Anybody else, anything on page 4? Page 3 is that a page number issue?
No, it's under section 1, introduction. The 2 items were deleted regarding limiting structures in areas where soil and geological conditions will provide a safe foundation, and prohibiting uses detrimental to environmentally sensitive areas. I was wondering why those were struck.
They were struck from this particular section. Just didn't think that we needed to lead with that. So those specific items are addressed elsewhere.
I just think they're important because Lisbon does have a lot of wetlands and environmentally sensitive areas, so.
Certainly, yep.
So are we on page 5 now?
No, I still have something on 4.
Okay, you got something on 4. All right, go ahead.
I went through when I got this and I went through there, although a lot of them were cleaned up, we still have some places in the whole thing where we still have the word village as opposed to village board or plan commission. And I think that is confusing. I think we just need another check through there. I don't have a specific spots, but we do have some references to village. As to I think it should either be the village board or the plan commission. So there's no question who's got jurisdiction on decision or determination. So I think it just needs to be checked one more time, maybe when we're through the whole darn thing. That's the only comment I had, that's starting on 4.
Okay, anybody else? Any comments on 4?
And I hope the final document has got a bigger font for us old people like me and Brian.
It won't have balloons.
I had to extend it out to here to read this.
I didn't reduce it, I swear. This is
That's the balloons.
Thank you.
Anything on page 5?
No?
Page 6?
Nope.
7?
Wait, I have one unfortunately from our staff meeting on apartment. I had a note, but not including in-law unit. Oh, an apartment does not include, oh, it's an apartment. Okay, very good. It's there.
7? 8? 9? 10? I guess, did anyone have anything on any of the pages? I can just keep listing them otherwise, but
I've got something on 18 when you get to that.
let's go to 18.
Under the definition of junk, I think we should include concrete. Seems like we've got every other type of material included in there.
If we add that, could that potentially make the quarries non-compliant with other sections of village code? For example, the nuisance ordinance.
But
Or
it says
something
all
like-
articles or things discarded as manufactured. I don't think anything that the quarries have got. If,
I don't think
as
it will
far as
matter.
concrete is,
What if it's ground up into your,
I don't see that being a problem. Adding concrete. I don't think it'll
Cause any,
I don't think it will address
unintended issue.
addresses anything with the quarries.
Kathy, I need to go back to 13 and ask you a question if I may. Cul-de-sacs, what was the final direction from administrator and the staff on temporary and permanent cul-de-sacs?
What page?
Page 13, cul-de-sac definition. Mine now says we were gonna eliminate temporary, but what was the final decision? I don't know.
I think we were gonna bring it forward to see if the plan commission thought that removing the ability to do temporary, so when a builder comes in, they would be required to do a full cul-de-sac if they had, even if the road in the future might go through. Because what we're having is problems with people that now in the farm field next door, they just want to build one house, so they a temporary cul-de-sac, which is really on two other people's property, is not being removed. And in some cases, what we call a temporary cul-de-sac might stay for 40 years. So it's not really temporary at that point.
A couple
So
of my clients have decided that they're trying to make this distinction and dealing with the length issue and stuff is just not, so you extend it, you grant the waiver to extend the temporary cul-de-sac to a longer length, and then you put a T-turnaround on it. So these people drive all the way down to the end, can't turn around, and so they've just decided a distinction. What is the distinction between permanent and temporary when temporary lasts 40 years?
right,
And so, and what do the snow plowers really want? They want a full cul-de-sac. at the property line so that it can turn around.
Right,
And the
exactly.
T turnarounds and the Y turns and the mini ones on people's property just aren't working necessarily.
Not only that, but people at those last two lots sometimes use those temporary ones because nobody catches it as their driveway. And then when you extend it in 40 years, all of a sudden they find out that that's not their driveway. I
So,
understand exactly what the problem you're referring to, John.
right, we had two properties come in, Brelands and can't remember the other. Mullins. And, they were at a place where the previous developer developed the property next door, but never did a full cul-de-sac. Well, they bought the farmland next door. They only wanted to put one house on it. But a temporary cul-de-sac has to be made permanent somehow. And it's not right to, the plan commission didn't want to put that burden on the one homeowner, the new one homeowner. So, we were in a situation where we left a T turnaround. If we remove any possibility of, temporary cul-de-sacs, then we put the onus on the developer to put in a full cul-de-sac. And if later on, that property develops into a new subdivision, then that new developer will have to get rid of the permanent cul-de-sac and, the land would be donated to the two properties next to them and the road would go through, but.
We did that on a subdivision within the last 2 years here. I remember that. I think, as far as I'm concerned, there should be no temporary cul-de-sacs. You put in a full cul-de-sac and you deal with it as you really, and just deal with it. Because what's temporary, I'm temporary too. I'm gonna be worm food in a few years, so.
This would have solved more than a couple of problems. The only thing is, there's a couple areas where there were some roads put in with the understanding that they were gonna go through at one point, and there's no homes on those roads. So at that point, you're just gonna have to leave an easement open and then, but how do you address that later with that?
So, yeah, but at this point,
I think
if
it's a
the,
lot less issue,
yeah,
lot less of
it's-
those, but.
yeah, because we would be, if we got rid of temporary cul-de-sacs now, we would not be able to create new temporary cul-de-sacs. So all developments moving forward would require all permanent. It wouldn't make every cul-de-sac in the town have to suddenly become permanent.
No, but we do have a couple areas where on the south side of
Mm.
the village here, there's a subdivision that was put in and you can see where another one will go at some point.
Right.
There's a road that was added. There are no driveways hooked up to that road. It was only added because it's going to go through
Right.
at some point. We don't
Mhm.
plow it. And this is gonna be a lot less. But how do we make sure with those that those roads, there's an easement there, and then who would actually pay for that at the other subdivision? Would that be the new developer? Would money be held from the old developer? How do you do that? Have you run into that, John?
Yes, but, first, I would say that the chances of that occurring are going to be slim to none under the new court case that came down in Brookfield that said that you're condemning land and you can't force those kind of strips with no houses on them to even be built. And so what we've done is we've talked to the developer who's gonna save the money of having to build that strip and have them give that strip of land or transfer that land to the adjoining property owner. So when that road has to be built for them to develop, they have the land to develop the road on. So we've come up with a fix, and I actually did that in Genesee about 20 years ago, because a developer just said, I don't believe it's ever gonna happen.
Mhm.
And so I will gladly transfer a 66-foot strip from this property line to my road to the adjoining property owner. And, in fact.
Don't
I
have
think
to build the road, so that's.
I don't have to
saving
build a
money.
road, so I'll give up the land that I would have dedicated to the village anyway, to the neighboring property owner.
And I'm gonna tell you, we don't seem to build subdivisions like that anymore anyway. I mean, they seem to be built a lot smarter.
Well,
So-
we just built, Bark River. I think it was Bark River on North.
Hmm.
And we required, him to put in one small, strip to the next property because there was no access there was no road access because it was wetland near the road. So the only buildable spot on that road needed to come through that subdivision. So that John's way of doing it could have happened, but we did just recently do that with Carrick, have him bring that into short stub into the next property, but.
But then by our new definition, anything like that that's done is gonna need a cul-de-sac, correct?
Right, so now the new way of doing that would be what John just explained, just to donate, instead of building the road, just donate the land to the other property owner.
Then we won't have a permanent cul-de-sac, but we also don't have a road that doesn't go anywhere, that we have to plow and maintain and
But
have
there's
a
an
full
option to do it.
cul-de-sac.
As
but-
long as it's recorded that somebody picks it up on the sale of one of those houses in 20 years,
Mhm.
that they know that what's gonna happen, half of their front yard's gonna be maybe a cul-de-sac.
Their side yard, yeah.
So if we,
Well-
can- I don't have any problem eliminating temporary cul-de-sacs. I hate those darn things. We've got a couple up in our subdivision.
So do we all agree that temporary cul-de-sacs should be removed? Okay. Thank you,
That's
John.
That's another section of the code, but we decided to bring it up under definition so the policy could be given to us. And then we can, when we worked on that section, we can deal with the issue. It's gonna get rid of, in some respects, we will come back and say, how long do you want them? You know, the permanent cul-de-sac to be, and whether you can grant waivers or not. But I think there's gonna be less and less of that issue, you know.
I mean, on an individual case, we do have the right to waiver, right? If there's circumstances such that.
The length, I mean, waive the
No,
length.
I'm not talking about the length. I'm more worried about what's gonna be built there. I mean, if you have on the other side of the property line in the subdivision, a wetland or a lake, you can't require somebody to put
No,
Then-
it was just that the portion toward the other road that
Right.
would have been on the property,
yeah, okay.
didn't have an entrance because it would have went through a wetland. The buildable lot, portion of that lot was near the Carrick subdivision, so he put that road to the property line so they could build
Yeah, okay.
a house back there.
So we'll just take
so-
out, what, 3 words there?
So we
Either
would take
temporary-
either temporary or permanent. Okay, anything after 18?
Well, on 18, what did we come to a conclusion on with that? It does say manufactured articles. Wouldn't that cover the concrete, Joe?
Well, I just went by a contractor's yard the other day, and guess what's laying there is a bunch of rubble and concrete and stuff that should be removed, which I would refer to as junk. I just think is there a problem if we using the word concrete that I'm not aware of?
I don't know.
Not that I'm aware.
I just like to put it in there because there's a lot of rubble around the place and it sits there for 10 years because they said, well, we're gonna crush it, but it doesn't get crushed. It's just junk.
I don't have a problem adding it. Anybody have a problem adding concrete?
But we know that's not gonna screw, I mean, cause like
It's not gonna have
Dark
anything to
asphalt.
do with.
it has piles of this.
Yeah,
And that's not gonna be, we're not gonna start calling that junk then and
no,
But it's used in conjunction with their business, it wouldn't be
Wouldn't
junk.
be junk.
It wouldn't be something that was discarded. It'd be something that
But
they
if
were
it,
using with their
but in a
business.
subdivision, somebody has a pile of
Right.
concrete, that's junk.
yeah, but that's what I was just saying, cause it's technically manufactured articles. I just, if we know we're good, we're fine.
Yeah.
I just don't wanna keep repeating things.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else that anyone has in the definitions?
On page 25, under planned unit development, we're still referencing town.
What page? 25.
Page 25, planned unit development. I'm guessing that was just copied over in town.
Yep, I see it.
Or get updated.
I got it on comprehensive plan, but not that second one. My apologies.
And then on page 29, if no one had questions before that page. I had a question, I guess regarding the whole code, why is the shoreline and flood lane removed?
Those are separate ordinances now.
Okay. That's fine.
we pulled all that stuff out of it.
Got it.
Lot
Just
area
making
on
sure.
page 19, 20.
Page 19.
On page 20, lot area, we added and Mill Tax Road. whether dedicated or.
That was on the lot. Yeah.
Yes, above it, unless we're dedicated or presumed.
All right. I think you need it in both.
Put it in both.
Yes, please.
Okay.
And on page, I have one on 34. Again, just somebody needs to go through here and straighten this out, but we have a definition of village. As long as we don't, I don't have any problem with leaving the definition of village in there, as long as we remove the use of the word in this code.
Well, you have my strong support to eliminate the word in the code because I'm the one who has to interpret it. If it only says approved by the village, I have to always interpret that to mean the village board.
Right, and
Because
that's
the
why I
village board
hate,
says they should all be village board unless there's an exception. And we know that and we'll go back and check it. So
Okay,
you're
thank you.
absolutely right.
okay,
I hate that when they call me and says, who
Yes.
approves it? It says the village.
I've
Can
spent
the
too many
administrator
hours
approve it?
listening to people argue about that word.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Was 34, anybody after?
Nope.
Anything else in,
Nope.
Good.
we ready to go to the next tab?
Yep.
This is, keeping of chickens.
Is that red chickens or green chickens?
It's the
It's
second tab,
26.
it's 26.
11.
You don't have a tab?
I printed mine out with my own notes on, it, so I gave my copy
It's,
back.
section 3, page 26.
Okay, I just need the page number.
It's 22.
But you have to
Okay.
look at the section number
Okay.
as well.
I don't have anything in that section at all.
Shall not exceed 32 feet in area. Very small.
Feet 9.
I would.
You think, 32 feet is too small? Okay. I got it out of another code, so.
Yeah, that number
5
is
chickens?
from another code, and I think it's based on the number of chickens, which is 5.
5.
So it would, if you had
Square
more
feet per
acreage
chicken.
and then you brought in more chickens, then
Bigger
you're.
we had on the farm.
6 square feet per chicken.
And again,
Where
we're,
should you
this
put
is
it?
being limit, this is
In a
for
gathering area.
specifically the single family residential. So this would not apply to non-single family residential lots.
That is pretty
I
small.
defer to
It's small.
chicken experts and
If I was a chicken, I wouldn't be.
I can tell you, every single person I know has got a chicken coop, has got a bigger chicken coop than this.
So what do you think we should make them?
But are those on single family
Or do we
residential
need-
lots or on agricultural zone?
Do we need a chicken coop shall not exceed? Do we agree that we need a, not to exceed number for the size of the chicken coop?
I think we do because
Okay,
somebody's gonna argue like the neighbor saying it's too darn big.
Well, here's the thing though, Joe. So I know somebody's got one built in a shed.
No,
Half
I
the-
don't care what the
But half
number
the
is.
shed is a chicken coop and half the shed is a shed.
Right.
So is it a shed or is it a chicken coop?
I don't care what the number is, whatever somebody, I think we should have a number, but whatever the group feels is appropriate.
Because we already have restrictions on accessory buildings.
Yeah, because if a guy's allowed to put up a 1,200 square foot detached garage and he makes it a chicken coop, he's only allowed to have 5 chickens.
Right. Why don't we just take
That's
that
my
out?
opinion. That's my.
I mean, we have rules on accessory structures already.
Yeah,
Right.
So I would.
And if you
think-
can only have 5 chickens, somebody builds a coop for 50 chickens, the chickens are gonna die in winter because it's too big. But I know 2 people who have sheds that they have built, they've built the chicken coop on the outside of the shed, and then on the inside is where they get their eggs.
Right.
So is it a chicken coop or is it a shed?
But is that agricultural or is that?
The
home?
single family.
The single family.
I think one of them might be agricultural, but I know the other
Okay.
one.
Well, could we change it to say the area used for the coop?
How about
For
we
a
just get rid
chicken
of it?
coop shall not exceed 32?
How
Would
about we
that-
just get rid of it? What do we need it for?
Yeah. I'm for
We have
getting rid of it.
restrictions.
Okay,
Was the question? Okay, remove that?
Yeah.
So we're gonna remove, triple I.
Whatever
Is
makes-
we're not gonna, we're removing the height as well.
Yeah.
In triple I, so.
It's all
okay.
covered under the accessory structures in my
All right,
opinion. but-
sounds good.
make the chickens.
The chicken coop shell standalone structure located in the rear of the yard. See, here it is. There's more though.
What'd you say?
The chicken coop shall be a standalone structure located in the rear of the yard at least 25 feet from all property lines, and at least 10 feet from all principal structures. Why does it have to be 10 feet from principal structures?
That's just normal for,
Accessory buildings.
yeah.
Normal chicken talk.
Yeah. Otherwise you have to, then you run into fire code.
Yeah, but what if it's not standalone? What if it's part of the shed? That's what I'm saying. Then the whole, we took that, it doesn't matter because we took the size requirement out. Never mind. That's moot.
Structures dedicated to the keeping of hens shall not be considered in the calculation of the maximum floor area of structures.
Who'd have thought keeping chickens was so difficult? Where'd we get this code, this one from?
A lot of this language comes from Slinger.
Stadium War.
So is
Can't
G
move that.
supposed to read, structures dedicated to the keeping of hens shall not be considered in the calculation of the maximum floor area of accessory structures?
It just says structures.
So we're asking, that's
So-
what she's asking, should we put in accessory?
Yeah, it's probably.
Should be
specifically-
excluded from.
Yeah,
But if somebody puts up a 1,200 square foot shed, then they can put up a chicken coop.
They could
Yeah,
put up
can we
a
just
chicken coop
reword
on
G
top
to
of it.
say shall be excluded from the total?
Why do we want to exclude it though?
But if doesn't the Roman 6 right above that disqualify it? Cause it says chickens shall not be permitted in any other structure on the lot, including but not limited
Yeah.
to garages, basements and attics. So wouldn't that include accessory buildings?
yeah, the whole idea of this was that there would be a separate structure, you limit the size of it, and that because you're requiring it to be in its own structure in single family areas, that you don't count it against the overall square footage because it's, it's not the typical, it was a standard, it's a right that you're allowing that wasn't previously there. And so
They
you're
could
not
still
gonna
have
ding
their-
people who already have, their two detached accessory structures. You're gonna allow them to have this as well, but you're gonna limit the size of it. I guess
That's what I'm saying.
that I think was the intent of this.
So what are we doing? Anything?
That's why I was questioning putting the word accessory in G, if it's not technically an accessory structure.
So what Orange just said is by striking the size, you may have caused other problems.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We should add it back in.
Well, if you're allowed,
Because we're not counting it towards anything else. So III is relevant if we are not penalizing people for using it towards accessory structure.
Right.
well, if you're allowed 1,200,
Well, an argument that, well, I built this garage and I'm only using half of it, so that half of it doesn't count to my size of how much accessory structures I can have, because chicken coops, so you
So I'm thinking,
gotta.
why don't we count it towards the square footage?
Well,
think
we
the
have to make
idea
that
was-
clear. That's
Yeah.
not a problem as long as we make it clear. The building inspector's laughing because that's what they're gonna come in and say. I get to build another building because I don't have maximum square footage
Right.
because the chicken coop doesn't apply. And so I think they're saying, well, now the chicken coop does apply.
I think it
Since you
should
can
count.
have any size you want.
I think it should count towards I think it should be counted towards the accessory structures.
Size of the extra, so getting rid of.
That's just my opinion.
well, you have
Because
to
that
limit-
clears up a
you-
lot of things.
Yeah, but if you're allowed 1,200 square feet, the way this reads now, I can have 1,232 square feet.
Right,
Right.
And you don't want to do that. We want to limit it to 1,200.
That's
so
what I'm
you
saying,
should
get rid of that, so
include-
it should count.
Yeah, it
Right.
could count towards,
So not, so in G, we get rid of the word not. Structures dedicated to the keeping of hens shall be
G
considered
period, don't you?
in the calculation of the
Right.
maximum floor
Yeah.
area of
So
accessory
we get rid of
structures.
G,
That works.
Yeah, strike G.
so it will count.
You want to strike G, or
Strike
do
G,
you want
period.
to leave
No.
it there, but make it very, you noted that it does. So
Yeah.
structures dedicated to the keeping of hens shall be considered
Yeah,
in
get
the
just rid of the
calculation of
word not.
maximum.
There you go. That
Okay.
takes care of a lot of things.
Then it's right there in black and white. In the area.
Okay,
of
so we're
any-
going to strike not and add accessory before structures.
Yes,
Thank you.
beautiful.
Jake it.
Chickens. Now, Joe's stupid question of the night. This only, we make a statement or somewhere or another, this only pertains to chickens?
It's single family, female chicken keeping in a single family district.
Okay,
All right, our next one is section 3, page 39. It's your third tab.
As
This
long
is
as the
on
page number,
accessory
we're fine.
structures.
Kathy, you and I talked about these numbers look different.
I thought the same thing when we,
These aren't even, I mean, these are less than what we have now. So this isn't right. I can tell you one to 1.99 acres is 800 square feet, 850. It used to be 1,000.
let's, why
know,
don't we
because
skip
I have
this and
one.
we'll bring it back, because I did
Yeah.
email
I thought
what we wanted to say on this.
didn't we go through this in the last 6 months? We changed all these? Cause there used to be only
We
3.
looked at them, but we did not approve any changes.
We'll have to look at these.
We put it off
Back.
until
Just
we
ignore 'em right
redid
now.
the zoning code.
Okay,
So can I just, excuse me, I'll just make a
So
comment
do we,
really quick.
do we think there was an amendment since, like, something that wasn't codified in here for
It
accessory
was
structures?
considered, but it wasn't passed.
Okay,
It was an email that I sent you after Joe and I spoke about accessory structures.
Okay.
Specifically,
So basically to make it,
it was to give it, allow more square footage.
yeah, to make it
so-
simpler, the way it is currently is if you're under an acre, you're allowed 750 square feet. If it's between the front setback line of the home and the rear setback line of the home. If it's behind the home, you get 850.
That can't be how it is currently.
That's how it is currently, yeah. Well, that's why I'm enforcing it, so
Did it
hopefully it's
change?
right. I'm trying to think, it's on page
I was
70.
allowed 1,000 square feet when I built.
That's the way it was before the current ordinance before that, everybody got 1,000 square feet and everything came to plan commission, over 200 square feet. Then when the current ordinance came about, that's when we divided it up into differences, and I think it's page 74 of the current ordinance. So basically what happens is if you keep your shed in between the front setback line and the rear setback line, you get 1,200 square feet, period. But if you put it behind the house, then you get the extra square footage based on your property size.
And what we had talked about too is the fact that a lot of people who don't have a primary garage should be able to build a bigger unit. So we'll get the numbers. and
Right.
Okay.
All right, so let's go to the final tab then. That's on section 4, page 73. Limited family automotive repair business.
It actually cleans up a lot of stuff.
Did you clean up the stuff from the email?
Yep.
Okay, so you deleted things out of here. Thank you. Anything on the automotive? No? Okay.
Everybody's good with this?
is immediate family member. Everybody has the same idea?
What an immediate family member is?
Yeah,
Think so.
I think so too. I just want to check because
Immediate family would be spouse, child, or parent.
Okay. I just want to make sure I was.
Not uncle, not cousin, not in-law.
Okay. First
Well,
general.
Yeah, that's
there's a
how it's defined
question, we'll
for-
make a definition.
That's how it's defined for when you have like,
Yeah, it is defined somewhere else.
That's fine. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Well, let's add it to the definitions, though. Orin?
Yep.
You want to add that to the definition?
Immediate family member? Is that what you're adding?
What?
Yes.
Well, it just says family. It doesn't say immediate. It says family residing on the premises.
Yeah, no, but if you look at 3, it says one additional employee which shall be an immediate family member is allowed for the maximum of 2 employees.
So it's immediate family, so we just need to add a definition on what immediate family means.
Okay.
Okay, so
That's actually different between limited family automotive repair business and limited family business. Limited family business just says family. It does not say immediate family. That's what I'm asking.
that's correct. It's
Is
different,
that what we want it to say?
yes.
It's a good point. What's the difference between 16 and 17?
like, I would think if they're all family business, regardless of the kind of family business, it should be the same requirement.
So do you think all limited family businesses should be immediate family business? Or are you
Running
saying get
residential.
rid of the word immediate and?
Just get rid of the word immediate, you're thinking?
So.
I guess
in
we're limiting
three-
it to 2, I guess, what does it matter?
So in 3, we could get rid of immediate. Are you all okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
Well, wait a minute. I mean, it just. Look on page 75B. So in the one, they don't have to be family members at all. Nope.
All employees except one full-time equivalent shall be members of the family business living on the
The
property.
purpose of the unique new auto repair one, and I'm paraphrasing, limited family automotive repair business was to make it much more restrictive. Legalize those that we had, but make it, you know, this, because that's a most often, I won't say always, you know, could be argued to be more, you know, problematic or more issues in the neighborhood than the limited family and home-based manufacturing business. So
Well-
I just,
I wasn't questioning that part. I was just
No, I know, but
questioning whether you
Elisa-
wanted it consistent
Yeah.
as far as family versus immediate family.
Right, but
That's,
the employee in the limited family doesn't have to be in.
limited family, one full-time equivalent does not have to be a family member.
Right, and what we did here.
I mean,
was-
I guess. So if it's a dad and an uncle, you could do it in a limited family business, but if it's a dad and an uncle. Or 2 brothers essentially,
That's immediate family.
is it though? I mean, if it's a dad. And his brother who doesn't live there, is that still considered? Cause if it's spouse
It
or
would be the
child,
dad's
that's immediate
brother.
family, but if it's.
but
The
if it's nephew,
father
uncle-
and his brother, not his, is that considered immediate still? Is this why we didn't do
If
this?
the person, so if you owned it and it was your brother, that's your immediate family. That's still your immediate family. Just because you got married and had kids doesn't mean that you don't belong to your immediate family.
But he doesn't live in the residence.
Maybe he could.
Well, what if he doesn't?
Well,
Parents, siblings, spouse, and children, blood. Immediate family,
what if it's a nephew, uncle?
blood.
That's not immediate family.
What if we just use the language in B3 and extend that over to the replace the immediate family language in.
Immediate family,
B3.
parents, spouses, and minor children.
I guess if we're allowing 2 people, I guess it doesn't matter which family members. We're allowing 2 people, but I know what John's saying, because he's trying to protect this, because this could be a problematic one. But
Could, under the limited family automotive repair, could you use the language from B on page 75, but make all employees shall be members of the family residing at the premises, and just take out the except one full-time. That way they could be, if it was a uncle and nephew living in the same house.
Do we care if they live there though?
No, I don't think
I
that's.
thought he was trying to make that more
Yeah.
Yeah,
restrictive.
it makes a big difference if you're coming there or whether you live there.
Well, let's say there's a father and a son doing their business out of that house and the son moves out. Now he can't work there.
Right. They gotta go.
I don't
These
wanna
are
kill that
supposed,
though.
those are supposed to be very limited family businesses. At some point, they're supposed to grow to a point.
But it's not growing to another person. You're still the same number of people there. Nothing changed to the outside world other than the fact that that person doesn't live there, but they're still part of the immediate family.
I think we should just, in the limited family automotive repair, just strike the word immediate family member.
Which
So
word,
these-
Kathy?
So in,
You're making
on
it like
page
the other-
73, on page 73, triple I, just strike the word immediate. So it can be a family member. So if it's a nephew or a niece, they can still work there. But only two people can be on the, maximum number is two. Property owner
To
and
Elisa's
one,
point, though, if you want, we gotta make them read the same if the intent is the same.
We just make
But it
D3
isn't.
on 75, just move it over.
but it isn't. This is, if we did 70, if we did what's on 75, you can just have an employee. It doesn't,
Less, it's more restrictive to say that second person can only be,
a family
Family
member
member.
of some sort.
Okay, so your
Yeah.
proposal is that
It should be a family member. I will say.
the automotive repair, it's one additional employee.
Which shall be a family member,
Strike immediate, but they shall be a family member. Still makes it more restrictive than the other one, but you're not allowing somebody to come in from.
So it would be-
outside.
in
Which I agree.
parentheses, property owner and one other family member.
Family member. Everybody good with that?
I'm good with that.
Yep, but
Okay. Yep.
sub II says residing on the premise.
Well,
must be owned and, yeah.
Be owned and
Owned
operated.
and operated by members of the family residing on the.
Right, so it's
premises.
still owned and
Right.
operated by
Okay.
the property owner.
okay.
So that's fine.
Do we have a restriction on these storage buildings that they can't operate businesses out of there? You get a.
Operate business out of the one on Q, right off of Q there.
I think there's a standard for that.
It depends on what district you're in. You're in a residential district, are you talking about
Store, they're
the
talking just,
limited family
no, I think
automotive?
he's
and-
talking about a storage facility.
But actually, like somebody rents a storage garage and starts operating a business on it.
Well, depends what district it is and what, how the storage garage was designed and built.
Mhm.
It may not have been meet the code to run a business out of it.
So like fire code.
Right.
Well, air circulation, it's not only fire, there's other codes.
I withdraw my question.
So that's what we had for discussion tonight.
Can we go one more page?
I would just say
Sure,
on
go
page,
ahead.
on page 82L,
82L.
under self-service, that's the self-service storage mini warehouses. The condition L says there shall be no commercial business activity or office use, either retail or wholesale operated within any mini warehouse facility or unit on the property, other than a facility manager's office.
82, section 4,
Section 4. It's covered, Joe.
section 4,
Okay.
82.
Okay.
Perfect.
What was your other one,
Never
Terry?
mind.
I thought that was an I.
I'm outside.
My
the bounds.
comment was on page 75, section 18, multiple family units. The September meeting, we talked about that being removed completely and being replaced. I think Joe had mentioned something about looking at putting something, language for side-by-side townhomes, 1 unit per lot for senior.
We did, and I just haven't had a chance to come up with that new language yet.
Okay, but that multifamily needs to be struck out.
Well, I think we'll still have, it will still have multifamily units. We'll just be limiting them to
Senior.
side-by-side condo style. Right? Because the whole point of it being multifamily is that it's not a
Technically is.
duplex. It's not there aren't separate lots for the units, right? So you're allowing multiple units on one parcel.
One building per parcel, but it's a side-by-side building.
Which
No,
would
but there could be a
technically still-
scenario where there's condos that aren't, in
No,
a
we're
condo
talking no
development, they're not on separate parcels is what I'm saying.
But that's
So
what we were talking about eliminating.
So you could have one
we're talking about eliminating
condominium lot. and it
multifamily
might
in one
have
building.
Multiple
Right.
single-family homes on.
Did you see
We
what?
discussed in that September that we wanted no more than two. One
You'd have
unit per lot, one side by side town.
so you have one building split in half with a family here and a family here.
Right. So
But on
basically,
one lot, which technically still would be considered a multifamily.
Right.
I thought we weren't trying to preclude somebody doing a condo development where they have multiple side-by-side buildings on one property that are all part of the same development, but they're all part of a condominium. So those units aren't on separate lots. They're all on the same lot.
well, I think that's what we were trying
They're all
to not,
subject to the
trying to
same
eliminate that.
Well,
I thought we were trying to make it still possible to have that style of development,
So
but
it-
not multifamily residential that's multi-story
So, but-
with multiple, like over 2 units per building.
You're just going two per lot.
By,
What we discussed in September and what everybody agreed to was one building per lot with no more than two units in the building,
okay, but
side by side, not
Okay.
duplex.
But did we talk about the properties that are just one large development? And they're all single-family homes, and it's still a condominium senior,
We were
Ah.
trying to avoid that.
and
Heartland's
why?
down right down here in K.
Why would we avoid that? Just give me an idea of why, because we don't have road responsibilities in there, we don't.
We-
Because
I
the
would-
condo association
I
takes
would
care of
prefer
that.
not to have multifamily in Lisbon. There's enough of it around Lisbon. I think
Well,
what Joe
but
suggested is,
definition wise, why do you see single family homes in a condominium development that have to have at least 1 acre per house as multifamily?
1 acre density or
Yeah,
1
density.
acre? See, but then you could cluster everything into. a very
Exactly,
tight
that's why they
area.
do it.
Yeah, but I don't think we want that.
These are single family homes.
Yeah, but you could-
Standalone.
then
By
you could
definition,
have-
they're fine.
You could have a 1 acre parcel like this, or let's say this is 8
Send
acres.
Jim Seaman over to see you,
That's fine.
because,
If you think I'm gonna have a problem going toe to toe with anybody, bring them on.
well, they just say you're wasting.
I'll give you a list of
You're wasting,
references.
you're wasting open space, and we can have parks, and we can have,
If this
you
is
know.
4 acres, you could put all 4 parcels right, you could put all 4 units right
Absolutely.
together. Nope, don't want it. You want it?
No, sir.
You want it? You want it?
multifamily, no.
You want it, Joe?
Oh,
It's out.
Okay, so it's
Whole section.
it's a condo. Multi-unit condo are out. But that's not multifamilies. Multifamilies are
So we would, if it's,
multiple families
if
in
it's
one.
one
building.
home, if it's one building split apart with one on this side, one on this side on a lot. We're okay with that,
It was like townhome,
right? But we
Yeah,
don't want.
Side by side.
but I think condo developments and apartments would be considered multifamily.
If they're multiple in a building, it's a multifamily, correct?
Right.
I'm just surprised our golf course operator is, these are very popular around golf courses.
Yeah,
Just not other ones.
Merrill Hills,
Yeah.
I mean, the legend of Merrill Hills, I believe their development is very popular. And that's what it is, single family condominium homes on a very,
that's-
that's
pardon?
it.
Great neighborhood, I guess.
Pardon?
That's a great neighborhood, I guess.
All right, well, we know where to go in that instance. Anything else that somebody happened to look at? We were only expecting to go through the ones that we tabbed
Yeah.
tonight.
Got a lot done.
what's the
That's
next
good.
bunch we're gonna deal with? Do you want these
I don't know,
back
because I'm
now?
not here.
No, you guys will keep those?
I'm not here, she's.
And you'll give us new pages then?
That's my understanding.
So the idea is that you keep these.
Yeah.
We'll tell you which section and page numbers that we're gonna go through.
Right.
And then, so you can continue making your notes on them.
Got my-
And then,
Trying to steal my.
then once you go through everything you think you need to go through in this, then a final draft will be made with all the changes. And then brought back for a final review, and then we'll go to, we'll
Okay.
go to a public hearing, and then go to passage.
Okay.
So goal is to have it all done by March's meeting.
What
So,
meeting?
March,
Gotta be done by March.
gotta be done by March.
Gotta be done by March.
That's Joe's last meeting.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Copy that.
Come around for 6 more months.
Nobody wants that.
I did look up that,
They took your numbers.
building size on there and it's currently still up there.
It's up there, so we're aligned. What was that, Rob?
That's today's language.
Okay.
I just looked up that, building size of two buildings based on lot size today in our code on our website here. Less than 1 acre, 800 square feet, 1 to 2.9, 1,300. 3 to 5.9, 3,900. So there's apparently an email out there that'll change, but that's what it
Yes.
is today.
I know we went through it.
So
Okay.
Item 5, planner report.
We will have a couple applications for our next meeting in January.
Site plan of operation amendment for Vermeer to add, new vehicle sales because they have one piece of equipment that they're producing that has to be mounted on a vehicle. And DOT is requiring them to
Sell
do
the vehicle
so
too.
and sell it as a whole. So they need a motor vehicle dealer license, but that's not covered in their site plan right now. So they'll be here in January. And then,
We have,
possibly Newman.
right, we have Alpine Hills, Newman's, right next to, Osblick. They are coming to the village board next week to ask for a comp plan review to be done off cycle. They didn't bring it forward in September, when they're due for us to go through a yearly recycle of any amendments that need to be made. They were made aware of it, in advance. They forgot about it and they didn't do it, and now they want us to go off cycle. So the village board makes that determination. If the village board does make that determination, they're willing to do an cycle comp plan amendment, then you might see something in at the next meeting.
But it couldn't be the next meeting. There's not enough time to do a public hearing notice.
Very good. February.
As soon as we could meet the class 1 30-day notice requirement for comp plan amendment, we would get them on. It would.
What do you mean?
The state statute says, I think the village board does the public hearing on a comp plan unless we have a ordinance that says otherwise.
I believe in the past, we've done
Right.
all of them as joint plan commission.
Yeah.
And village board.
That's practice.
So this was my last meeting, so it was nice working with all of you. If I see you at the Christmas party, any of you coming to the Christmas party?
Mhm.
I'll see you at the Christmas party then.
happy birthday.
And thank you.
And you have a birthday?
Friday's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yep, thank you.
We have another birthday.
That's St. Nicholas.
Don't we have another birthday
Same,
soon?
yep.
Monday?
Funny, I married a nickel.
A Friday and a Monday. Happy
Anthony's is
birthday.
Friday, mine is Monday.
Oh my gosh. Happy birthday, ladies.
We're gonna have lots of
you.
chocolate cake.
Office is closed for 4 days.
Hey, Kathy.
Thank you.
Is there item 6 is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We're out at 7:39.
Sherry, you were the second?
I was the second.
Thank you.
Give me a sec, stop recording.
Get that cat.
Merry Christmas, people. If I ever see you.